Now here's a brief overview of Anki. When you first launch Anki, you're asked to choose a profile. I'll choose this initial profile. Then you're presented with a window that contains a list of decks. Here, because we've just started, there's only a default deck, which you can rename and configure. Because this is an initial deck, there's no content, there's no cards, so we can still browse this deck. So here then, you have the deck browser. This here's a list of the cards in the current deck. These are cards that you've added today or studied today or they're due again today. This represents the learning mode, which is one of the modes of each card, and so on and so forth. Here's the default deck, right, which we can rename. And here you have a list of the note templates. We'll see that you can create note templates, so you can quickly filter the deck by note templates. Now suppose that you want to add flashcards for the cognitive productivity book and you've come across this concept of CUPA, which you want to learn. So let's add a flashcard for that using Anki. So we'll add a flashcard saying on the front we'll have the question, what are the 4 criteria for assessing knowledge resources? And then we'll add CUPA. Okay, and because we're lazy, just do a copy paste of that, and we've got our first flashcard. So to study, go back to your decks, select this deck, and then ask study now. So you're shown a flashcard that's made of the question that you created, and you click the spacebar to show the answer. And then what you do here is that you rate your answer. If you found it very easy, then you rate it as easy. And if you found it difficult, then you rate it here. So basically that controls the interval with which the card is presented again. Now suppose you want to edit this card, then you can click the edit button and you'll see it here. So as you can see, the templates that come with the basic Anki deck are quite simple. If you wanted to create a more complicated set of questions associated with a knowledge gem, you need to use a template editor by clicking on the Fields button and adding new fields to the template. And also you can configure the way in which the cards are presented. That's fairly advanced. We'll show you a bit more about that later, but to make the job easier for you, what we've done is we've created a deck that you can import that will cover 99% of the kinds of questions that most people will likely want to train themselves with. We will also see below that you can train yourself not only on the Mac but on the iPhone. Actually, it makes more sense to train yourself on the iPhone when you're mobile because you probably don't have any spare MacBook time that you can spend practicing, whereas you can probably find time to practice with your iPhone when you're on the go, commuting, exercising, and attending events for your children or waiting in line or so forth.